This is Blue Laker, and we emanate from Radio Tribune here right in Las Vegas. There are a number of things that happened today. For example, they pulled the bill, the GOP has pulled the bill on health care. And I think rightfully so, because there's not enough information in there to satisfy all the people. You know, the problem with that is that there are other options that are on the table that make a lot more sense and give us breathing time to put together the right program that's going to work for everyone, including lower cost, lower deductibles, and by having savings to accompany that. So what I'm going to tell you is that by having the ability to save money, we can do more with the available money, cover more people, have lower deductibles, and put together a program that makes sense not only to America but to the rest of the world. Shouldn't that be what we endeavor to do? Well, I think so. I think that as the world's leader, we owe that to not only America, but to the rest of the world. So I would suggest that we get on the same page here, that we do things that are going to be beneficial to not just us, but to everyone else. So I have a little problem with the fact that we seem to be acting like Keystone Cops, running back and forth in different directions and not getting anything accomplished. I certainly do not like the fact that the Democratic Party is trying to obstruct. Well, you might say obstruct justice. I'm not sure if it's obstructing justice. It's obstructing progress. And progress is what we need. We do not need more of the same. We don't need more of a system that is costing us millions and millions and millions of dollars on a daily basis. Now, you would think that with all the brains that are in Washington, that they could come together in a unified way, wouldn't you? Well, what's stopping them? Oh, they don't like the Republican Party? They have to have it their way or no way? If it's their way and the highway, maybe that's going to make a difference. And maybe it's going to get to that point, but I would certainly hope not. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of examples of what we can do. You see, some of the professions that we have in this country, professional, you know, they require a tremendous amount of study, knowledge, information, practice, and take people a lot of time to get there. And I don't care whether it's the doctors or the lawyers or any of the other professions, because even a welder has to know what he's doing. But you know, that welder knows what he can do and what he can't do. And there are some rules that he has to follow in order to make it work. Oh, sure, anybody can throw fire under a piece of metal and make it weld, but is it going to be a temporary weld? Is it going to hold? That's my point. We need to put in place a program that will hold, one that has been successful, but hasn't been truly implemented to its fullest extent. And you know, this show right here, the one that you're listening to now, is called Cobra USA. Now, you may wonder how that came about. I'm not going to tell you the story at the moment. Well, maybe I should. Well, if you look at this hat that I have on, you'll see a king cobra. And when I was thinking about what I wanted to do in terms of the name of a show, you know, I've had several radio shows before. One was the Green Wizard Energy Show, and another was the independent voice, or the voice of the independents, and a couple of others. The point was that I wanted something that would, I hope, be a buzzword. And so I thought, well, okay. And I looked at the hat that I have, and it had a Cobra on it. And I said, well, okay, why don't I try Cobra? Well, it was then that I decided also to look up more information about Cobra and where that name applied in other different, in the realm of things. Well, guess what? The very first thing I did was I went on to Wikipedia. And Wikipedia said Cobra. C.O.B.R.A. Cobra. And I found out that Cobra was a law that had been put in place in 1985 by Ronald Reagan. I said, well, isn't that interesting? Because I know that we are trying to replace Obamacare. And isn't it interesting that the very first thing that I come to, and not because of any other reason, but what I told you, I got one on this hat, and I liked it. And so as a result of that, I continued to gain information. Well, as it turns out, Cobra is a guarantee. It is not an insurance program per se. It is a law. This law was put in place by President Reagan in 1985 and continues today. And what it allows for is the continuation of medical coverage under an existing plan that you may have, and it is good for 18 months, up to 18 months until you get a replacement. Well, at that time, we didn't have anything called Obamacare. We didn't even have a medical plan that addressed the whole United States. And so when we look at the connection, and when you think about it, using common sense, if in fact Cobra allows a continuation of an existing insurance program for up to 18 months, that simply means that even Obamacare would be carried forth for 18 months, up to 18 months, while those individuals, companies, or corporations got other insurance. Again, I need to remind you, Cobra is not an insurance program or plan. It is a guarantee for continuation of the existing program that you've had. Now, what could be simpler than using a law that's already in existence without having to go through the legislative demands and the opposition to any new program, and I don't care what it happens to be. We've seen this continuously since Donald Trump has been in office, where the Democratic Party opposes everything, and they do it as a party. There's no sense them having senators or congressmen because everything is laid out. And if you don't follow the dictates of that party, you got a problem. You won't get anything passed. You won't get anything even submitted. So they have a fix. Now, why shouldn't they be allowed to express their own opinions and not have a party program that is set in concrete? Well, let me tell you, when you do something like that, you are obstructing progress in the United States. And what's the sense of all these people, senators and representatives, going in with a set agenda that's consistent all day long, every time, where they vehemently oppose any progress, and especially something that is promoted by the Republican Party? They might as well stay home and rubber stamp it, bang, 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 and go in opposition to the Republican Party. That's what they're doing. Is that what we elected them to do? Or did we elect them to represent the constituents that they supposedly are supposed to do? Those constituents are the ones that put them in power. But they put them in power for one reason: to make America great again. And you can't do that when you have a standard answer for every question or every proposal that is coming up or every individual nomination and everything. Can't be done. How are we going to make progress if that continues? Well, guess what? It's not going to happen. There is going to be resistance to that program, and although I may not have the answers as to exactly how that's going to be solved, I can assure you it will. If it leads to dismissal of certain programs or individuals, or, there's just too many other things that we need to be talking about. And the one thing that we really must keep in the back of our mind is progress. It's making America great again, and we cannot do it diversified to the point that it's one party against the other party. It should not be a political situation at all. It should be America. That's what it should be. America first. Are we so entrenched with special interests? Oh yeah, these are the ones who give dictates to certain politicians and money to control our destiny. Isn't that nice that we have someone who's looking out for our welfare? Well, are they looking out for the welfare, or are they looking out for the special interests? And are they allowed to pull the strings on every proposition that's put in front of the American people? No, I don't believe that was ever the intent of our forebears. They created a constitution that we have lived with for over 200 years, and yet we keep hearing about the tearing apart, the disintegration of it. And we see that, especially with the past administration. The Obama administration put into law 93 acts against Christianity. 93 acts against Christianity. Well, I thought this was a Christian nation. Well, it is. We're the largest Christian nation in the world. And yet, we have someone who comes out of nowhere and creates 93 laws against Christianity. In addition to that, in his administration, and some of the others prior to that, we've had over 40 acts of terrorism right here in the United States, with thousands of lives being lost and many, many more injured, and some for life. Now, what is it going to take for us to get on the same page? Unity, not diversity, not divided. And if we can't come together on that, if we can't do something about our borders, as many have stated, a country with no borders is not a country at all. And open borders have got to be closed. Trump has said that in so many words. And I believe that he's going to do it in a very effective way. Because if we don't, we can't cut out the cancer. And you can say, well, what are you talking about, the cancer? Well, how about all the attacks by the Islamic terrorists or the radical Islamists? How about we cut that out? Would that be beneficial? Well, I mean, you take the acts of 9/11, for example. What did that cost financially? What was the cost in terms of life? What was the cost in terms of people permanently injured? Do we stop to think about those things, or was that too long ago? We must get together, and we must get together with other nations to help us along those lines, so that we can watch their back and they can watch ours, because they can help us in stopping the spread of ISIS. And we need it, because we can't be everywhere all the time. But we can solve it. Where are you? Are you an American? Are you an American by choice? Are you an American by political party? Have you dropped the opportunity to have the American dream? Are you going to continue to battle against the right? And when I say the right, I mean the right that is guaranteed under the Constitution of the United States. If you are, you're in direct opposition. And I'm not so sure that I would consider myself as an opponent of peace and tranquility. As an American who feels like he has an obligation, or she has an obligation, to do what is best, not just for America, but subsequently the world. Because someone eventually will come out of this as the world's superpower. And I hope that what the Lord has promised, 1,000 years of peace, begins with us right here in the United States. And I know that we can do it if we just put our minds to it. So again, you know, we started out with healthcare and the fact that they put off the vote, and I think that was good. I think it was good because now we have a chance to look at the other options. And all I'm asking is that we do that. I'm asking us to look at this and to try to take the easiest path. The easiest path doesn't mean that we're forgetting anything. It just means that we're guaranteeing to those people who have medical coverage now the right to continue under that program until they or we find a solution that is acceptable. Part of that would be getting insurance across state borders. Why should we restrict anybody from trying to live within their budgets and have affordable care just because we have a border between the states? Well, you know what? I'm a little concerned about that, because if we can have borders between the states that prohibits you from going into another state to get insurance or a car or anything else that you want, then why in the hell don't we protect the borders of the United States first? Why don't we come together in a program that will allow us to move forward steadily, inch by inch, foot by foot, mile by mile? And there are ways to get that done. Yes, there are people with programs that can help modify and make the corrections that are necessary for all people to be able to have health care in this country. A lot of it is going to be done by savings. Now, you say savings, well, let's think about that for a second. What does that mean? Does that mean that you put your money away in the bank and now you have a savings account? Oh, sure, that's part of it. But it is not the biggest part at all. It's the smallest part of that. Because you see, what you save with your everyday necessities of life is where you can get the biggest savings. I don't care whether it's gasoline, food, equipment, vehicles, all of those things that we have to have for continued prosperity, including energy. So I'm going to hit on that for just a second because this is part of the conversation. It's something that I know a lot about because I am a general contractor. I am a solar contractor. I'm inactive at the moment. But the point is that I know about these things and I know that they work. I know that we can save and apply the energy savings to what we do in everyday life. Now, let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Sure, we create electricity for our homes, and that's one of the biggest bills that we face today. Oh, the utility companies don't like that because now you're taking part of their profit away. Do I care about the utility companies? No, I don't. I care about you. I care about America. I care about making progress. And we can't do it if there are fences that are thrown in front of us that you can't do this and you can't do that. No. Anything that you can do to save money is important to your overall health and welfare and future of your children for educational purposes and things of that nature. In some cases, it needs to be, I'm going to say forced savings, but it's a force within you that says, I want to save. Now, what can I do today to save money? What do I mean? I'm saying to you, if you have the opportunity of buying gasoline for $1.40 as opposed to every other station in town being $1.85 or $1.79, that's a savings that you can count on. And with that savings, now you have that money to do something else with. Does that make any sense? Now, if you have enough of those savings on a daily basis, you would be surprised to find out that you could probably save $40, $50, $100 a day in necessities that you have to have for survival in today's world. Oh, well, how much is that per month? Well, if it was $40 a day, it would be $1,200 a month. Could you use $1,200 a month additional for other things, for a savings program, for education? Oh, yes, you can. Well, why haven't we done this before? Because I guess people are just plain stupid. They don't look beyond the trees. They don't understand that there's a forest in back of them, and there's many opportunities in that forest that we can pick up and use. And that's the same thing with health and health care. Is there are programs out there that are available. Yes, they try to suppress them. They don't really want them. I mean, let's face it. If the health industry is able to arrange their own rates, if there's no cap on particular surgeries or specialists, of course it's going to get out of hand. But if we take the time to go through and find the actual reasons why these expenses are so high, then we have an opportunity to curb them, to curtail them, and to make that money available for other purposes. So I'm saying that rather than spending hours and days on programs that are not going to work, that we get together, and if the government can't do it, then let's do it ourselves. You see, during the American Revolution, that was the problem. They weren't getting the responses and so forth that they needed. And then they finally had the Boston Tea Party, and we had the American Revolution, and guess what? It wasn't the government, because we didn't have one. Oh, it was the government that was Britain. It was Britain. And finally, all types of people, farmers, ranchers, whatever, came together and said, that's enough, we've had enough. Isn't it time we said the same thing? We've had enough, and we need to bring this under control. And how are we going to do it if our representatives won't do it? And remember the British representatives were not representing us, they were representing the crown. Well, don't we have the same thing today? We have the same thing today that happened in 1976. Oh, 1976, 1776. Stand corrected, 1976 was a little bit different. Anyway, the point is that we have to bring ourselves to the point of, if you were being revolutionist, and I don't mean revolting, picking up arms, or doing those other things. Sure, we have the right under the Second Amendment to not only have the militias, but to oppress a government that is not operating within the Constitution and is actually trying to tear it apart. So, in parting today, I need you to pay attention to what you can do. Start saving today. And you're going to be surprised that if you take your daily savings and you can save $20, $30, $40 or whatever, $100 or $1,000, that you're going to find out at the end of a week's time that you will have accumulated a lot of money. I can't tell you how much because I don't know what you're going to do. But I can tell you, you will be surprised to find out that you can easily save $50 to $100 per week, $400 a month, $400 a month, or $4,800 a year. Is that something that you can use in a more effective way? Well, I can tell you one way you can do that right now. Quit smoking. A pack of cigarettes is $6. I don't know, because I don't smoke. Somewhere in that neighborhood. But I do know 6 times 7 is 42. So if you have $42 worth of savings by simply quitting smoke, think of this. Not only is your health improved, but your financial health will be improved as well. Now, unless I miss my guess, those people who only smoke a pack a day are going to be saving $180, maybe $200, depending on what they smoke. Isn't that enough to make you take action? And if you apply the same thing to healthcare that you apply to cigarettes or gasoline or any of the other things, all of a sudden you begin to realize that you actually have a lot of money at your disposal, and it will be disposable income that you can use for other things. So this is Blue Laker, and we are at Radio Tribune in Las Vegas, Nevada. The name of the show is Cobra USA. You can call us on the telephone. You can come in and be a guest on the show. But we ask that we're not afraid of someone not understanding. But I ask that you come in with an open mind, even if you happen to be on the other side. Yes, we're conservatives. Not just conservatives, but very, very, very conservative. And we're trying to help you to become the same thing, to do the same thing, and to act for the benefit of the United States. In closing, I want to thank you for listening, and I hope you'll take some of this to heart. And if you find that there's something wrong with the diagnostics that I have given to you, by all means, speak up. That's your right. That's your right under the First Amendment. Freedom of speech. Have a great day.